Peace and blessings be upon the most noble Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was not sent but to be a rahmah, a mercy upon the whole world. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already determined the purpose of why He created the communities, both jinn and human beings. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in Surah Dhariyat, "And I did not create the jinn and mankind except to worship me, or to have loving obedience to me." Humans are on earth for this real purpose, to act as successors to the representatives of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They maintain the safety and security of all of earth's inhabitants. They do good deeds and do whatever pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, according to the book and the tradition of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The relationship between human beings and their Lord, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is one of true connection between the Creator and those who love to follow. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of all creation. He created human beings which are no more than followers. Humans are part of the Lord's creation. We have been respected with minds, with knowledge, and guided to obey and worship what is greater and not less than us, Allah, the Lord of all creations. The relationship between this Lord and His followers is a very special one. So we ought to always adhere to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. For example, in Surah Al-An'am, "Say indeed, my prayer, my rites of sacrifice, my living and my dying are for Allah, the Lord of the worlds." The time when the followers are closest to Allah is in our sujood, our prostration, when we are remembering Allah, when we are communicating with Him, when we are worshipping Him sincerely. The follower feels the duty, even in how the follower earns or how the follower spends his livelihood, to connect to his Lord in order to benefit his Muslim brothers or the Ummah as a whole. "O you brothers, you are a unit. When you pray, pray close to each one. And when you perform any duty to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, always remember this. And this will benefit you and those that succeed you, so that it passes on forever and ever." He subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in Surah Al-Qamar, "Certainly the righteous will be among gardens and rivers, in a seat of honor, near the sovereign, perfect in ability." At that point we will admit Allah's perfection subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah has names for His qualities of perfection. Allah has tremendous power over our lives. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has power over the lives of all around us. Every human being, also the animals, every creation in the sky and the earth, whether living or not, all is impacted by the power of the Creator. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, "The seven heavens and the earth and whatever is in them exalt Him. And there is not a thing except that it exalts Allah by His praise, but you do not understand their way of praising. Indeed, He is ever forbearing and forgiving." The whole of the universe is created and designed in this beautiful way. All of it, every single last bit of it, is present, performing the remembrance of Allah and doing it together. The skies, the earth, the stars, the mountains, the trees, the animals, every single creature, it is following Allah's laws. They are all showing their deepest gratitude, witnessing Allah's powers and thanking Him over the bounties that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided them with. And what will bring us back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the same way as the rest of creation? What will help us to appreciate this perfection in His qualities and develop the profiles of being true followers and servants in order to face Him so that He will be pleased with us on that day? Take an example of someone who is sick. A person who is sick does not taste the food and any good in that food. That taste is gone due to that sickness. It is the same for a person who has a sick heart. Due to sickness in that heart, a person will not taste the love of Allah. Such a person cannot benefit from their following or worshipping Allah. If any one of us has this sickness in our heart, it is difficult for us to dedicate time for our Lord, the Mighty, the Wise, or to spend any time doing it, any of that time doing it wholeheartedly. We would hurry to break our fast we would pray as quick as we could. We would rush to get out of the masjid. We feel quickly, I did my duty. Such acts of worship by a heart that is sick means that those acts are untasted. Those acts will not be like the acts of those who have hearts that really tasted the love of faith and their Lord, the Almighty, the Wise. For Facebook, such a person has time and is wholeheartedly online and connected. Check his WhatsApp status. It says he was online only a short while ago, and Facebook Messenger online but 5 minutes ago. Ask about his status with the words of Allah, the Noble Quran. He was not online since last year. The status with the Nawafil, the non-obligatory prayers, he was not online for the last 9 months. Could you call this the love of Allah or dedication to faith? In the second reminder, the Imam said there is no doubt that Muslims are doing their real duty during the Friday khutbah, because they are expected as a duty to leave with their minds having benefited from a reminder, to understand the words and stay quiet during them. From when the Imam has started on the minbar, the Muslim makes no movements, does not talk with his neighbor, avoids occupying himself with any distractions because the Imam is talking. Otherwise, the purpose of the Jummah khutbah is not benefiting the person if they are talking, fidgeting or engaging with others. It's forbidden to talk from when the Imam starts. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the one who talks, said that the one who talks when the Imam is talking, they lose the benefit, or lagha. This means they are in a loss from benefiting. The person isn't required to redo the prayer, but the prayer is fruitless. So, are we supposed to answer someone who says salam when the Imam is speaking? Or do we have to answer someone who sneezes? The answer is no. No one should give salam when the Imam is speaking, and no one should be answering back with wa alaykum as-salam, or to answer the sneezed person. Our beloved Rasulullah ﷺ said, if you have to say to someone to be quiet, even if you have to say these words, be quiet, during the sermon, when the Imam is having the speech, you have this laghat, this loss from benefiting yourself just from saying be quiet to someone else. So it is remaining silent that matters. And this includes those who forget to turn off their phones when it is ringing. Even if the ringtone is acceptable, if it's praying, if it's reciting Quran, the adhan, or an Islamic song, the noise will cause disturbance to those around you. It's unacceptable to have it on. And we remind you not to use your phone when the Imam is speaking, because he, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, says, if you touched a little stone, you will have lost the benefit of your prayer, this laghat. It is not allowed to leave the masjid when the Imam offers his speech unless for an absolute necessity, such as saving a fugitive, rescuing a child, or extinguishing a fire or other danger. It is your duty as a Muslim to come and turn off your phone as soon as you enter the masjid for Friday prayer, and from when the Imam is offering his speech until he concludes it. If you've forgotten to turn it off or put it on silent, you certainly shouldn't be talking to people on the phone during the speech. Imagine someone who leaves their phone on, it rings whilst the Imam is giving his reminder. They answer the call and walk away. Such a person does not really benefit from the reminder or from his efforts to come to the congregational prayer. Despite not being required to do your prayer again, this person is not appreciating the wisdom of abiding by Allah's laws. They have done something which is not permissible. So may Allah guide us to His straight path. May Allah increase our knowledge of Islam. May Allah give our heart strength, time and energy to get back online with you, and welcome back Ramadan. Ameen.
جزاك الله خير. أقم الصلاة. جزاك الله خير.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.